I ask permission to read very briefly from the Constitution. Thank you. I'll start with the U.S. Constitution, First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. That was the U.S. Constitution. Fortunately, we have that also in the Alaskan Constitution, Section 6, Article 1. The right of the people peacefully to assemble and the petition to the government shall not be abridged. Mr. President, you won't see this as a habit, me standing and speaking on special orders, but something's occurred this week that I think the body needs to be aware of. I think the people of Alaska need to be aware of. And I think we all need to be aware of this so it doesn't happen again. And I'll briefly read. On April 2nd and 3rd, there was a demonstration outside the Capitol across the street. And it was a demonstration put on by Alaska Right to Life. Alaska Right to Life had several large photographs of the aftermath of an abortion. And I am speaking about the First Amendment. This is what the protest was about. Previous to that, and subsequent to that, we've had other assemblies, other protests, other rallies. And I know this body takes the First Amendment very, very seriously. But an incident occurred that folks need to be aware of, and we may need to look into as a body. So the folks who were Right to Life were silently protesting the concept of abortion. And yes, they had very hideous photographs of the aftermath of abortion. The fact of the matter is, abortion is a hideous act. But what was really awful, in my opinion, surprising, to be honest with you, is that several vans were parked deliberately in front of these people so that their protest could be blocked from those entering the Capitol. My understanding is that this has never happened before. This didn't happen after. We've had oil rallies, for and against. We've had education rallies, for pro-education rallies. And I've been here a very brief time, but from what I understand, this has not happened before. So the vans blocked these protesters. And my understanding, and I've seen parts of it, there is a video to this effect. There was actually one protester that was shoved to the ground who was blocking a van from trying to move even closer to block the vision of the public from these photographs of these protesters. Mind you, Mr. President, these protesters were not yelling and screaming. They were not saying anything. They were standing there silently. Yet we had several vans, State of Alaska vans, parked in front of those protesters. We had one of the protesters, it's on the video, that was manhandled. This is an outrage. And like I said, you won't see me stand here very often, but this should be an outrage to everybody in this body, everybody in state government. Because what had happened there was the First Amendment. There was an issue there in which folks had the right to protest quietly, peaceably, and it was interrupted. It was an awful experience. I'm not sure what happened there. I think it needs to be looked into. At the very least, I got a feeling there'll be some apologies issued. But I want to put the Senate, I want to ask through you, Mr. President, that the Senate be very aware of what occurred here the other day. The issue, forget the issue, the concept of being able to stand out in front of the Capitol or anywhere in this country and to be able to protest should be supported by everybody in this body and everybody in this state, regardless of the issue. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Dunleavy.